That's good, Peter. Okay, welcome to our team call tonight. We are going to be talking about how to run free groups that are not lame sauce. So, I don't know if anybody on this call has ever run a free group before, but I have done a lot of them, and I've had a lot of flops in my free group career as a coach. And so I want to kind of share some ways that we can combat that, share some of my experience, and then also share why free groups are so essential. So a little background, I never participated in a free group prior to being a coach. I didn't even know what a free group was. So I had no clue what to do. My very first free group was a teacher's recipe share. So it was around this time of year last year, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started like sharing recipes that I thought teachers, I'm not a teacher, I don't know what teachers need. And so I was sharing all these recipes that I thought would be helpful, and it was a total bust. No engagement, no whatever, total flop. So the next free group that I ran was a little bit better. It was like a clean eating challenge. It went a little bit better, but still, I didn't have anybody who transitioned over to the clients. My turnaround was terrible. Then I started a meal prep group, which I was learning how to meal prep. So I used it as a challenge to myself to up my meal prep game. If I am forcing myself to do this group, I'm forcing myself to meal prep, which was a great learning experience. And that one has been really helpful. But I also tried to run one that was 30 days, and it was it was centered around a book, The Marriage Prayers, and it was so terrible. I checked out, and the whole group checked out, and it was awful. Several of y'all are in it. You were in it, and we know how bad that was. So, like I said, fail forward. So some of the content from tonight's call is from the experiences from those good groups and the bad groups. So I'm going to share my screen. And I've got a pretty little slideshow again. I don't know if you guys like slideshows or not, but it makes me feel professional. So, all right, free groups, how to stand out from the coaching crowd and run a free group that doesn't suck. Now, there are many coaches who run free groups. Now, personally, I have never been a part of one outside of the ones that I've run. So I don't see a lot of this, but apparently within the Beachbody community, it is very normal to run free groups, but they are so cookie cutter. Everybody runs a 5 or 7 day free clean eating challenge. And people at this point are getting to the point where they're just scrolling on past. It's not interesting. Like, unless it's someone who's never had any interaction with Beachbody, which you will get, it's just not original, and it doesn't appeal to someone. And if mentally and emotionally they're not in a place where they can start eating clean, they're not going to want to join your group. So I want to talk about why it's important to run free groups. I didn't realize the value in this for a long time in my business. So like I said, I came home from corporate America without ever having run a free group. And so when I came home, I ran my first free group last fall. And that's when I started realizing, like, from a inviting standpoint, one of the things that is so scary as a coach, and y'all can see my screen, right? Yes, hopefully. Okay. One of the things that's so scary as a coach, especially in the beginning, is inviting people to join you. Even now, this far in the game, it still can be scary depending on where my mindset is that day. And so this gives you something to offer to people that has no price tag on it. There's no obligation. There's no expectation. It's just you providing value to them and building that relationship. That's the second thing. You're providing value, investing in them, and you're also growing your skills as a leader. So this gives you an opportunity to learn how to run groups, to be able to problem solve things that went well, things that didn't go well, and what you could do different. And that's what leaders do. So those are the two main reasons that I have found that running free groups are extremely efficient. Now, my turnaround rate for free groups is not instant. It is usually a 3, 6, 9 month down the road before those people that have been in my free group actually turn around and become customers. But I've built a solid relationship that is based on trust, and they don't feel like I'm in it for a sale, which is really important for me, for them to know that I'm not in it for a dollar sign. So one of the things I hear a lot is, how do you know what type of free group to run? The first thing I can say is just do it. Like I said, with my history with free groups, I just had to figure out what worked for me and what didn't work for me. Free clean eating groups don't work for me. For whatever reason, my groups are silent. They just don't get no engagement. I've done a shake and taste group once, and I got a whole lot of zero out of that group. I think I ended up, in the last 6 months, I ran that one last year, I think I have converted 3 of those people over to challengers or coaches, but the instant return that I thought would happen didn't happen. So one of the things I encourage our team to do is to think outside the box when you are running a free group. 1 second. Okay. Think outside the box when you're running a free group, not just health and fitness. So what would you want to join? If you were scrolling social media and you saw somebody's post go up, is your topic for your free group something that would make you stop your scroll and want to be a part of? What are you gifted at? What do you struggle with? And what have you overcome? What do you spend your free time doing? Now, I know that a lot of the feedback I get from people, especially on this team, which just means that I attracted a bunch of boring people just like myself, is we feel like we have nothing to offer that is interesting. Well, there really is so much more to us than we realize. So let's talk about, I don't feel like I'm a professional in this area, but I should run a group on how to toddler-proof your home because that is my MO. Like, I have to make sure that my child doesn't kill himself in our house. So I should run a toddler-proofing your home group. But think outside the box like that. Are you someone that really loves coffee and yet you're working yourself to figure out clean coffee recipes without spending $5, $6 at Starbucks? You could run a clean coffee group. You would get a ton of people. If you're a pumpkin anything lover, I personally am not at all. That makes me want to throw up. But if you like pumpkin, this is your time of year. Like, capitalize on that. Go to Beachbody's blog and find all kinds of healthy pumpkin recipes, from cakes to cupcakes to snacks, you name it. There's so much stuff on there. If you're good at keeping plants alive, I'm going to need you to run a free group so that I can be a part of it and you can teach me how to keep plants alive. But so think outside the box. Like, what are you good at? Or what do you struggle with from the other perspective? Things like self-love and body image. So while this is not a free group that I'm offering, I am running a 21-day mommy. It's called Project Mom. And so for me in my life, I'm struggling with making myself and my health a priority. And so I am using what I'm struggling with and channeling that into a group. So you can do the same thing with this. It forces you to work on yourself, which is a positive thing. So those are some ideas on free groups that you can run. They do not have to be health and fitness. And this goes at some point, I'm planning to do a brainstorming call as a team, where it's something that we do back and forth, and it's live and we do it together, where we really are actively working to figure out our niche audience. Because I think that's one of the things that, as you figure out your niche audience, figuring out free groups becomes a lot easier. All right, so general guidelines and overall group structure. Because I'm encouraging you to run free groups that there aren't a lot of resources for, and I want to streamline the process for you to keep it from being a lot of work. So I've got kind of an overall guideline and structure to how you can run a free group, and that way you're not stressing yourself out and you're not kind of going crazy, that it feels a little bit more manageable. So what do you want to do in your free group, especially if you've never been in one? You want to keep it to 3 to 5 days tops. Now, some people do a week. I've done 2-week challenges before. That does not work for me. Week 2, everybody completely fell off the bandwagon. So 3 to 5 days is kind of my sweet spot. I really like 3-day groups because you can throw a ton of information at them in 3 days and they don't lose attention. So they're engaged with those 3 days, but 5 days would be my recommendation tops. I see the little thing blinking, and I'll check the chat at the end because with my screen it won't let me show it. Have 3 posts minimum a day. So what structure are you following? You're going to do one value or content-driven post. Let's say you are talking about meal prepping, or let's go back to how to keep a plan alive. Let's say you're doing that. Your value post and your instructional post, your how-to post is going to be one of those posts a day. Then you're going to provide a second post later on in the day that is an article or a resource pointing to something that's of value with your topic. The third one would be a live video or a post that relates to you and your experience. So you could go live and show your personal plant collection, and you could go live and show how much you water each thing and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So I'm relating it back to that specific topic, but just giving you an example. When you're sitting down and structuring, your first step is to pick how long your group is going to go. So let's say you pick 3 days. Then you're going to pick a subtopic for each day. So let's say you picked how to keep a plant alive. Day 1 would be different types of plants and how much water they need. So you're going to talk about hydration with plants. Day 2 would be talking about what plants need to eat. Do plants even eat? I don't even know. This is why I kill plants. Number 3 would be what are the best plants for each season. And so you'd have a topic for each day so that you could find your 3 posts to set up for your free group. The night before the group launches, you'll do introductions, ask everybody to have something simple. One, your name, where do you live, and what made you join this group, or what do you struggle with the most with whatever topic it is that you are doing. At the end of the group, you're going to want to do an after, the next day, a wrap-up or takeaway post, and then we'll talk about that a little bit in just a second. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're creating the content for your group. What do you want people to remember about the group? What value do you want them to take away? So when I did my meal prepping group, what I really wanted people to come away with was multiple strategies for meal prepping that takes the stress out for them. So I wanted to streamline meal prepping to a point where it made them feel like they were in control and confident in their ability to meal prep and live a healthy lifestyle. So you're going to really want to think as you're creating your content, what do you want people to remember about the group? I highly recommend doing a very small giveaway, like I'm talking $5 gift card, or go to Five and Below and find something like a tank top or a water bottle or something. Do some kind of a giveaway, because that keeps people engaged in the group, but you don't need to spend very much money on it. You don't need to do a Shakeology sampler or anything like that. But do a giveaway for tagging friends to join in the group. So every time I advertise for a free group, one of the requirements to join is they have to tag 2 to 3 friends in the comments of that post. And what that allows me to do is I will go and add those friends as my new friends in my network. So it expands my network like crazy. So in order to get in the group, they have to tag 3 people. And most people will tag 3 people. And you might get 2/3 of those people who will accept your friend request because their friend tagged them. And so you're automatically more credible as a resource instead of just sending a random friend request. So tagging friends to join group enters them to win a prize. Engagement in the group, so you could set a standard by saying something like, if you comment on, give your feedback on one post today, you get entered to be in the giveaway. Or like when I did my meal prep group the first time, I asked them to, if they tagged me in a picture of their meal prep on social media, then they would get entered to win a gift card. That was a higher gift card because that was a weightier group. But I had a lot of people that were tagging me in meal prep, which is good for your audience. It's good for people to see that you're actually a credible resource as a coach. So doing a giveaway is always a great idea. This is the question I get the most. How do you convert them to customers? This is the big question. And trust me, I wish I had a magic sauce, but I'm going to give you my best practices, and hopefully it will help. But the number one thing is private messaging. So at the end of your group, ask them to fill out a short survey. This would be like no more than 3 questions, and ask if they would be willing to be kept in the loop on future groups and opportunities that you would provide. So let's say you would send the message, be like, hey, so-and-so, I hope you enjoyed my How to Keep a Plant Alive group. Would you be willing to fill out a brief survey, since this was my first time running this group, so that I can improve it the next time that I run it? Since you're one of my first people in my groups, they're almost always going to say yes. So you send them a quick survey, and it's just like 3 questions. And it's something like, 1, what was your biggest takeaway? 2, what is something that you would add or change about the group? And then 3, would you like to be kept in the loop on future opportunities to work together? And then that gives them an opportunity to say, because they're probably going to say yes at that 3rd question. They're probably going to be like, sure, that sounds great. So when you invite them to a group that they would have to pay for, it doesn't feel weird. It's not icky. It's a natural thing, because you've already given them such value within your free group that you're like, hey girl, I know you said you want to be kept in the loop. Not sure if this group is for you, but I've got a Project Mom boot camp coming up, and I would love for you to be part of it. Do you want to learn more? And they already value you because of that content that you provided to them. So that makes inviting them to a paid group easy. The one thing that I want you to keep in mind is, like I've said a couple times already, the turnaround is not fast on free groups, but it is worth it. This is not, as y'all probably have realized, it's not an instant gratification business. And so this is a way to grow relationships faster without it feeling icky, without it feeling salesy, and really providing a quality of customer service and relationship that they wouldn't get if they went and bought T25 off Amazon. So how do you convert them to customers? If you have questions about that, please feel free to comment them in the chat. I'm going to check that at the very end. Just a friendly reminder, remember to provide as much free value in your personality as you possibly can. Let you shine. Free groups are an opportunity for you to be you, for them to get to know you, and that's going to attract your tribe. While I am a very, I'm a very spiritual person, and I love Jesus with all my heart, but for whatever reason, that 30-day, apparently I can't guide anybody in their marriage, so I'm just never going to do that again. But that's not my forte. Now, Mommy Boot Camp is much more my MO, because I struggle with that. So I'm letting my personality shine within these groups. Meal prepping is something that I struggle with. So I would go live, like when I would do the introduction, and I would always go live and introduce myself and share my story at the beginning of the group the day before it began. And at one point, Facebook had like Snapchat filters on live videos. And so I would do a Snapchat video of me like with a clown mask on or something stupid. And I would go live like that, because I want them to see that I'm not this serious personality. I've got a lot of sass, and I want them, because that's going to attract my tribe. That's going to attract people that I want to spend time with and that I want to invest in. So remember, this is an opportunity for your personality to shine. If you're sarcastic, be sarcastic. If you've got a funny sense of humor and you like funny mimes, then do that. Like, be who you are. Okay, so final tips, and then we'll take questions. Make it a goal to have 25 to 50 new people in your free group. That might seem like a large number, but when you're sending out invites for free groups, it's very easy to hit those numbers because it's free. Most people don't say no to free. Now, I've had some weirdos that have said no to free, but it's a lot easier to get that. But that gives you a wide enough people base that you're going to build relationships with maybe 5 to 10 of those 25 people, or 10 to 20 of those 50 people, and you really have some good relationships to work from at that point. Don't expect those group members to turn into instant sales. Building relationships take time. I'm just going to keep saying that on repeat. Be willing to have a few flops before you fly with free groups. It is totally normal for you to have a free group that you think flops. So, a funny story with that very first teachers group. I thought it was a flop. I thought it was terrible. Looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awful. All I did was copy and pasted a ton of recipes. It was awful. But this semester, a couple weeks ago, I had somebody, it was actually my old pastor's wife. She was in that group a year ago, and she was looking for breakfast recipes for her family, remembered that I did that group, and went back and found a recipe for her to make for their family for the week. Now, granted, she's one person out of probably 50 that were in that group, but I still provided value to her, and she thought of me when she was thinking about school prepping and teachers and meal prepping and all that stuff. Has she turned into a customer? No. Is she on my chicken list? Yes. But it was still, I provided value to her. So even though it was a flop in my eyes, somebody took something away from it. So don't nail yourself to the cross if people don't engage, or if people ignore your messages behind the scenes. It's an opportunity for you to learn and grow. I always try to plan out my months where my free groups are included. So I schedule them a week before prep week of your next paid challenge group. So let's say you run a free group the first week of the month, and then the second week would be your prep week of your challenge group, and then you start your challenge group the third week of the month, if that makes sense. So strategically planning however you want that to work out for yourself, but it gives you something to invite to right away, and hopefully convert them straight into a challenge group. So to wrap it up, don't let fear stand in your free group way. Just do it. So I know that it can be a little bit scary. There are a lot of resources that are in our team page. So if you want to look at a guide, I think there's a meal prep tutorial one is in there. There's a really good one by Megan Eggleston. That is a clean eating challenge. It is well put together and hardcore. So if you are someone that likes lists and content and blah, 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 like, go look at that one. But I encourage you to do something that is based off you and your personality. And that way you will shine within your group. The goal is to just build a relationship. The goal is to make a friend. If you go into your free group with the intention to make a friend or to improve someone else's quality of life at no expectation, then you're going to be rewarded for that in the long run. So be thinking of questions. I've had a couple that I'm going to look at. Is the general idea to add value. For instance, if I did financial success, first of all, I would want to be in that group, that's what I do every day, that doesn't relate to health and fitness, so how would that fit into the business? The general idea is to add value. So because that's a huge piece of who you are and a huge thing that you bring to the table, I would totally run a free, and I'm pretty sure our entire team would be in that group. I would totally run a free group on that, because you're not just putting yourself in their eyes as a professional, as a coach. You're just putting yourself in your audience's eyes as a professional, so that they think of you as somebody that they can trust, that you're not in it for a sale, things like that. So the general idea, the goal is to build relationships. So if your free group is building a relationship, then in my eyes, it's successful. Now, I don't know if all coaches in the network, like I said, I've never been in a free group, but from my experience, my goal is always to make a friend at the end of it. So I would say yes. And Kayla says yes, she wants to be in that group. Okay, so does anybody have any questions, feedback, experiences they want to share about free groups, anything like that we can talk about? No? Everyone's so quiet. Okay, well, oh, you're fine, Nikki. So if we're sure that no one has any questions, now's the time. Was this helpful, I hope, for you guys as far as content goes? So if you are looking for guidance on a free group and what to run, how to go about it, another great idea is to team up with another coach. I always encourage that, because even with a challenge group, you're not running it alone and you don't feel like the burden is solely put on your shoulders. You can divvy out tasks and things like that. So if you want help partnering up and things like that, let me know. But hopefully that was helpful. Anybody else before we go? I kept it at 30 minutes, guys. Aren't you impressed? Okay, so that's it. So our team call next week will be a live video. So next Monday evening, I will plan to go live and do a video. I know that we want to talk about follow-ups, and there was a couple of questions in the team page as far as that. Please, please, please send me topics as you have them. If you have things you're struggling with, things you want more information on, now that we are fully separate from Commit Crew, every call we do is based off you guys and your feedback and your needs. So as you are going about your business, make sure to let me know things that you're struggling with that I can help with. And we've got a guest speaker lined up for the end of the month, which I'm really excited about. She's actually one of the people who helped me put together Fitness Feud, so I'm excited for you guys to meet her. But that's it. So I'm going to call it a night in case last chance. No? Everybody good? All right, thank you guys. Oh, let's take a picture real quick. All right, y'all ready? Do your hair. Make sure you look cute. Daniel, you look so cute. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, y'all are awesome. Love y'all, and I will talk to you soon.